What's going on, guys? H3 Music here, and in today's video I want to show you guys how I created the instrumental remake of NF's When I Grow Up. Let's get into it. So first thing is obviously you want to get the tempo right so you can put all the drums in correct. I just tapped this out. There's many different ways to do it, but that's how I like to do it. The next thing I did was I started to sample the music box sound effect, and the way I did this was I just started pulling it from the front. The issue with that is the music box is not exactly quantized, so it doesn't come exactly on beat every time. So I had to go through each individual note and slightly move it over a little bit so that it would hit quantized right on the beat. The problem with this is that it plays a chord in the beginning, which is played out as an arpeggio. And so this means that the beginning couple notes actually are offbeat quite a lot. And so you'll notice here that in the beginning it's not exactly on. It is, but it's the last note of the arpeggio or the chord, not the first note. So that's why it's a little bit off in the beginning. The next thing I did was I went through the drop part and I added in the kicks and the snares. I did this because this was the easiest thing to do. It was just a matter of listening to those instruments and then putting them in where you hear them. So I wanted to get that over with quickly. There was a percussion sound that hit every half measure or so. I wasn't entirely sure what it was, but I knew I had heard it before. And so I went through all of my kit libraries, going through all the percussion sections, trying to find it. And I finally did inside my Trisamples pack. Trisamples has great free packs if you want to check them out. That's where I got the sample that happened to be the same sample. So for the bass, it's just a single sine wave, and the 808 pretty much follows the kick drum exactly. It just cuts out in certain places, that's all. I added in my impact sounds. I have them from a lot of different places. I'm going to put in the description a link to where you can get them for free, just because those are probably one of the best ways to make your orchestral stuff sound really, really good. The next thing I tried adding in was a cinematic sort of squeaky violin sound. It's in Intro, Intro 2, Intro 3, and maybe even The Search. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but I tried pulling it from those songs and I couldn't, so I ended up just using a violin from Spitfire Audio's Labs, which is a free plugin. So definitely check that out if you're missing some orchestral sounds and you need good free plugins. Those are amazing. So for the beginning portion with the percussion, I used a clap sound, and I just added a high filter on it, so I cut out all the high end. I added a little bit of reverb, and I changed the velocity of the notes so it has a little bit of syncopated dynamics to it. For the portion where the strings come in, the bass just follows the chord instead of playing that singular D note the entire time. So that's the biggest change up, and then obviously the strings come in. Those are just the notes of the music box being duplicated in the string section and over a bunch of octaves, and it follows the chords and all, so that's what's going on there. For the portion of the beat where it sort of takes a break and it's just the strings, music box, and maybe some impacts here and there, they took the music box and they changed it to only play once a chord instead of, I believe it was 2 or 4 times. And in order to do this, I went into my program Keyscape, which is my pianos and all that I use, and I pulled out a music box preset, and it sounds pretty much exactly the same once you tweak it a little bit. So that's how I pulled off the chord sort of music box where it hits less often. I'm not sure if it's obvious looking at it, but my patterns and all are very, very unorganized, and I'm not trying to make it look nice and all organized. All I care about is getting it done quickly at this point. So most of my projects look like this, and they're all big messes. So if you're lucky to be able to organize it, organize it. A really cool thing I thought they did for the second drop is halfway through it they have the kicks do a triplet roll sort of a thing, and it's really cool in my opinion. I think it should be incorporated into more songs. And yeah, that's pretty much how you pull off a NF When I Grow Up instrumental. I hope you learned a lot, and if you enjoyed this, like and subscribe. If you want to leave a comment on some suggestions, I'd be happy to take some. And yeah, see you on the flippity flip.